Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Pinnacle Fraudcast, part of our Effective Advice series. I'm Cord Lester, IT Project Manager and Systems Analyst. Today we're talking about the human factor, people. We have Keith Thomas, our Chief Information Security Officer, to talk about this important topic. So Keith, there's a statistic that is 95% of cybersecurity breaches are caused by human error. Can you tell us about that? That's a staggering number.
It really is. Listen, and I don't... 85% of statistics are made up too. I don't know if that's true or not, but the important piece here is the majority of cybersecurity breaches are caused by some type of human error. Mm-hmm. Now, depending on how you classify that human error is going to really depend on where that statistic lands. And that's why I kind of made the joke about, making up statistics, because it really depends on how you classify it. Okay. Right. When we look at breaches, security incidents as a whole, and you start kind of chasing down what we call a root cause analysis, the basic form of what happened and how did it happen, right? And we start going, okay, well, there was a vulnerability that a threat actor used to hack into the system. Well, I could attribute that to a human because the system has to be patched. You have to patch your vulnerabilities in a timely manner to prevent them from being exploited. So is it the human fault for coding it incorrectly? Is it the human fault for a patch being applied? Or do you just classify that in a category of itself, right? You also have issues where, in reality, this is why social engineering is why it is so incredibly effective and the most popular way that threat actors try and attack us, is because that is what is used most because it's most effective. Yeah. People make mistakes. We're human, right? Nothing can be 100% effective. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which way you look at it, right? People are trusting. People are inherently believe and want to see the good in other people. And so we're exploited for that. The bad people, the threat actors will exploit that. They do that by things like phishing, smishing. With AI coming out, you're hearing a lot about deep fakes and stuff like that now as well. It's the same vein. We forget our training. We get it once, twice a year. Even if you get it monthly, it's not every morning, right? Yeah. I'm not brushing my teeth going, this is how I protect against phishing emails, right? And so we tend to kind of lose track of some of that stuff and the daily grind of what's going on. And so that's one way that it happens, right? But on top of that, there's a lot of other ways that the human factor is involved. Physical access. Tell a story a long time ago. I won't tell you who it was for. I used to do penetration testing. This included physical penetration testing. And what that means is I would see if I could get into the building. Inevitably, I would always get access to the building. Yeah. I didn't have to break a window. I would always get access because of the human factor. Grab a big box and walk to a door. People just hold it wide open for you. You just walk right in. Act like you know what you're doing. Act like you're supposed to be there, and people inherently will trust you. And many people, I'd venture to say most people, are also very, I guess the best way to put it is passive aggressive, like they non-confrontational. They don't want to hey, who are you? What are you doing here, right? And be like, and they may call somebody else, call security, what if the building doesn't have security? What happens then? And so that would be exploited. And once I got physical access, I can look around a desk and see if somebody wrote their password down, look underneath their keyboard, look on the post-it notes on the monitor, because people forget. We forget things, so we tend to want to write them down. That's why we use password manager applications now. But even on top of that, I would plug in a hardware keylogger. So I'd plug it in and then plug your keyboard into it, and it would log every single keystroke that everybody typed. So not only can I get usernames and passwords, but I could get all the personal information, the protected information that they typed, and I would come back a day, 2-3 days later and collect that device back out and be like, look at all the stuff that I got. Yeah. And this would be at one office. Imagine that, across the board. And so the human piece of this, that human element, is what's exploited. That's why that 95% number is the way it is, because at the root of it, it all kind of flows back to us at one point or another, whether it's accidentally writing vulnerabilities in code. Average patching delay right now, I think, is the number changes roughly 32 days that it takes most companies to patch for a vulnerability. Phishing emails, deep fakes, phone calls, they all lead to the same conclusion, and that is eventually something's going to happen.
Right.
It's kind of how that breaks down.
Nice. So what do you see as some of the most common things that some of your associates across the firm that they are, some of the things that you see that they mess up with or cause any type of issues with?
There's a lot of stuff out there. I talked about a couple of them just now. When you look at this, clicking on phishing emails, it happens. Everybody does it. That's why we have controls to help protect once people click. Giving out too much information, being trusting, whether it's on a phone call, etc. It's not uncommon now, unfortunately, for a lot of places to get those fake voice phone calls, whether it is, hey, I need to reset my, we've gotten these here at Pinnacle, which we've stopped them luckily, but hey, I'm so-and-so and I need to reset my password.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, fill in the blank. The attackers will pick everybody from executives all the way down to, your financial advisor. They call in pretending to be them. And, our support desk associates, they don't know everybody in the firm. There's a lot of people here, and so we have other verification methods that we can use to make sure that we're not just working off of that phone call or that, voice when it comes in to help protect against it. Some of the things that people do here internally, and I'd venture to say is pretty common everywhere. When you're talking about, you're forgetting, I'm going to delay, I'm working on this report. I'll restart tomorrow to apply this patch. Don't wait, apply it. Not using a password manager, for example. That's a big one that helps because when you write down your passwords, average person has something along the lines of 240, 250 online accounts, and the number varies depending on which source you look at, but reuse somewhere between 14 and 16 accounts per password. It's easy to remember. Oh, this is the password that I use with this email.
Right.
The other thing that people do is they oftentimes will just iterate a password. We always joke about password 1 being the, password everybody uses, right? Well, it's time to change my password. Okay, I'll just make a password 2, password 3, password 4. Super easy to guess as an attacker. Takes seconds, right? And so going through and using a password manager, making sure that you've got a different password for every single online account, those kind of things are really what those are designed to help with, and so that you don't write them down, and then people like me come along and be like, oh, okay,
right,
and go log in, right? And so, outside of that, I would say that the last big thing for me that we see across the world is the human nature to forget. That's why attackers keep attacking. Right. It's we break that cycle whenever we delete that suspicious email, whenever we hang up that phone call from the untrusted person. We put extra steps in place because we're just forgetful people. I forgot that I wasn't supposed to click that. I forgot that I ordered that. Well, I didn't really order that. And we know we forget. We trust our forgetfulness more than we trust what comes in. So when I got that shipping notification and did I order something? I don't remember. Let me click and see what it is. And so that's exploited by our threat actors. And so you kind of have to have some other stuff in place to protect against it.
Well, that's good information. Thank you so much. Appreciate coming and sharing this on this important topic. You can find more information at pnfp.com/fraud.